Hello, citizens of the internet. Welcome once again to Soundcheck with Pathos and Logos. How's everybody doing out there? Paul holds the microphone to the cameras. Yeah. Yes, the massive studio audience.
Massive studio
That's exactly
audience.
right. When you make that sweet, sweet Pathos cash, dude, you can afford to have 40,000 people observing you.
It's true. You know, we were actually talking about that before we started the episode this week, in that we actually we had a chance to clean it up here. Normally, we'd had like an army of gold-plated manservants that would take the studio apart from one place to
That's right.
from studio Pathos and Logos and move it to the headquarters here where we shoot, and we no longer have to do that.
No, now we just have one gigantic cybernetic golem run by OpenAI, and it does our homework for us, and it also sets everything up. So
Yeah, it sets everything up.
That's right.
Yep. Conan has been fired.
he's gone now.
It's
he's
the
off.
gigantic golem who is editing video for us.
He's
now.
editing all of the videos for us. It makes life really easy
Yeah,
and
so
straightforward.
if the videos look a bit glossier now, that's why.
Yeah,
that's why.
Guy knows what he's doing.
You better for as much as he's charging.
That's right.
Paul, how are you doing this week? What's new?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Just truth is, just kind of grinding it out, but more of the same. Obviously, we're working on the record and stuff, trying to get that all finalized. I am trying to sleep more, Kyle. I have not been doing a lot of sleeping. I think I'm talking to the right guy. You work exactly 141 jobs, and you fly all over the country doing inspections. You know what it is to not get enough sleep.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so the struggle is real, trying to get those circadian rhythms together.
What do you do to get more sleep? Do you pack yourself in a coffin?
No, not a coffin. A sleeping bag actually that
you
floats. It's actually sealed with wax, and I float on top of an above-ground swimming pool. And that's kind of how I get in the zone.
And that's
when
just
it's
so
time for
nobody
me
will
to-
bother you.
Well, yeah, and I'm not even afraid of the shark that lives in the pool anymore, dude. Not anymore.
Oh, you still have the shark?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have the shark. The shark has me. Or at least he did for a long time. But I'm not scared of him anymore, dude. So fuck that shark, dude.
I mean, I figured you guys would be friendly by now. But...
Well, I don't know how to speak shark, Kyle. I never learned. There's too much else to do.
Does he not respond to commands like Hercules?
No, not like Hercules does. Hercules is what is referred to colloquially as a good boy. The shark who lives in the above-ground pool where I sleep in a sleeping bag on top of the water every single night to perpetuate my unholy existence does not respond to such commands.
How has that been working for the sleep?
It's at least 15 or 16 more minutes of sleep a night.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you, it adds up. It's making a difference. Kyle, why don't we shift gears here? How are you doing, buddy? What have you been doing?
I'm doing good, man. Luckily I've been enjoying some time home, which is kind of odd for
Dude,
me.
you functionally were like living in Texas.
Basically.
You had like 100 billion inspections in Texas. You were having your mail forwarded to the microtel in San Angelo, pretty much.
It's a Holiday Inn. But fucking me and Snoop, we chilling at the Holiday
That's
Inn.
right,
That's
that's
what
right.
we doing. But Texas has been so Texas.
There's a lot of Texas in Texas.
So Texas, they have Chuck Norris water.
Yeah, they do. I forgot about that. The Chuck Norris
Yeah,
one.
they have Chuck Norris water. They have waffles shaped like Texas.
They do. You can get a waffle that is shaped like Texas in Texas.
Actually, for what it's worth, you can get pretty much anything you want shaped like Texas in the state of Texas.
With the shape of the state of Texas on it. My wife has a nail clipper with the image of Texas on it.
See what I mean?
Anything you want, dude.
That doesn't even make sense.
I mean, and yet we own it. And it doesn't make sense, and yet it's in my house. So that's where we are with that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And so all that, I mean, that's really, that's what's happening, man. Like I said, just enjoying some time at home, taking Hercules on 2 or 3 walks a day.
Like you
do. Working on the new music. We did get to play some of the new songs for one of our good friends, rock photographer John Lowen, who was on last week.
He was.
He gave it the thumbs up.
Which is, let's be honest, everybody, that is a very powerful endorsement.
It is.
Rock photographer John Lowen cannot easily be swayed. And so we flatter ourselves that we were able to give him the goosebumps that he does love so much.
He did. He mentioned the goosebumps, didn't he?
That happened a lot of times for him.
Ooh, that means
Guy has a rich inner life. It's not a crime.
That's one way to put it.
Yep, that's right.
Well, Paul, is it time to bring on our guests?
It's finally time. Thank goodness, because I don't know if I could have talked any more.
We're going
about
right over the edge.
Yeah, sleeping in a sleeping bag that coated in wax on the top of the water where there's a shark in an above-ground pool. I don't know that I could have stayed there. So it is our pleasure to bring on. They drove from Boulder. They defeated a dragon. They overcame trials and tribulations. And they are here with us today. Everybody, put your hands together for the one and only Shorts. I was looking at your sweater, and I like struggle with this. This is, Kyle knows about this. This happens to me all the time, where I look at an item of clothing that somebody has, and I want to compliment them on it, be like, that is the sickest shirt. But you already own it. You literally already know that it's that sick. You don't need the external validation, dude. You know that it's cool. Yeah. But nonetheless, just, it says spam. That's beautiful to me. I love that. I love that.
It's a great sweater.
So we'll say it again.
It's from the actual Spam Museum in Austin, Minnesota.
Say more.
Please.
Okay. There's a whole museum in Austin, Minnesota. It's right off I-80. It's like maybe got a population of like 20,000 people. And this is where Spam was invented.
No shit.
And they're like the main Spam manufacturing plant and the main like office in this town. And it's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Split by a railroad, the entire corporate side. Other side of the railroad, the complete like working class works at the plant, Spam plant, canning, plant. It's wild.
That's amazing.
Right in the middle, the Spam Museum. It gives you the full history of Spam. All the Spam merch you'd ever want is at the Spam Museum.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. I got this thing called a Spam Joe. It's a one-string banjo made out of a Spam can and a piece of wood.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's metal.
I like.
Highly recommend.
Is it my birthday?
What do you
This is
tune the string
incredible.
to? Anything you want?
Anything you want, and it's the frets, unlike a normal guitar where it's all, equal temperament, half step at a time. It's tuned to a blues scale, like a pentatonic blues scale. So all the frets are kind of weirdly spaced.
Why does that feel so right?
It's super sick. It's super sick.
I mean, that's actually pretty cool because somebody took the time to think about spacing the frets out so that you could fucking play the thing.
Also, I mean, I am impressed both by the fact that they worked that out, that you can play a Spam can, but someone also intuitively knew that music played on a Spam can had to be tied to the tradition of the blues.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just had to be, dude. A pentatonic scale? Of course it's a fucking pentatonic scale, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of course you could take a fucking blues solo on a so that's my favorite thing I think that I ever heard about in my life.
All right, there you gotta go. You gotta go.
Guys, I'm going now.
Yeah.
I just leave. He got there too, dude. He walked there. It was wild. He was out for weeks. So I'm glad we led with Spam.
Yeah.
After that, how are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing pretty good?
Doing good, bro.
Chilling, baby.
Chilling.
Now, do you guys all live in Boulder? Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question. Are you all from Boulder or from Colorado? Oh, okay.
I'm from Boulder, Colorado. Born and raised. Been here my whole life.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Pretty weird.
I was gonna say it's sort of uncommon.
Yeah, I've seen Boulder change
a lot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
Well, because Boulder, the university is known for their just overwhelming amount of foreign exchange. How would you put it?
Just people from out of state.
Out of state.
Yeah, non-resident, right? Non-resident students.
Yeah, so that like finding somebody at the school like who's from Boulder is
Unheard
like
of.
seeing a unicorn. Like it just doesn't happen that often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that of Boulder and of Denver, that they have changed very dramatically I don't know what they're. I've only lived here since 2014. I don't know what they used to be like.
Oh wow! I mean, I feel like that's still enough time to see how much it's changed. I think the biggest thing about Boulder specifically is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The middle class is like non-existent in Boulder. You know, it went very drastically from like middle class to like upper middle class to like now we're in like upper middle class to like
the billionaires are kicking out the millionaires.
Yeah,
style.
like that guy that like just totally banked on OpenAI or like tech bro shit. It's crazy.
They go to Boulder now.
They go to Boulder
now.
Silicon Valley filled up. They're in Boulder now.
Now they're in Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard about like a shoe company that was like, "Fuck this, we're AI now." Like I know that's what I said too. I was like, okay, and then their like stock went like through the roof. They were like Birkenstock or something like that. They were like, you know what? Fuck these fucking sandals. Let's do AI. And they like changed the sign, and all of a sudden, like they got millions of dollars for it.
Holy.
We're no longer a restaurant. Now we're a law firm. Like just hard turn.
You know what? We're no longer a band. We're an AI company. Right?
I'm actually just AI. I'm not a dude.
I'm a hologram.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, who am I talking to? Wait.
I peel off a mask.
Well, talk to us about you guys mentioned you went and played in California. That's fucking cool. How did that come about? Do you guys have like contacts out there? Somebody reach out to you? Or?
Yeah, how do you get a gig in Cali, dude?
Yeah.
I know a guy who plays in a few bands there. I pretty much just sent him our EP that we released in November because I figured he might like it because he also plays in an emo band. And then he was kind of just like, let me book you guys, because he runs like he books shows and he promotes shows. So he was like, let me have you guys out. And he pretty much got us both shows. He got us on the Che Cafe in San Diego, and then we played his own, not his venue, but his own show that he put on in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's always best to know somebody.
Well, yeah, dude, I was just going to say, actually, that was my question. Now, you had mentioned that you guys played in San Diego, but it was 2 shows, huh? The other one, what was, because Kyle and I have done a lot of touring, we've done a lot of traveling, but we just happen never to have been to California. What's it like doing a gig in LA, dude?
That's cool. That's like
that's it.
Like the test. I feel like if you're good out there, you're like if people like you out there, they'll like you anywhere.
The SoCal test.
Yeah,
the
that
SoCal
is some
test.
line in the sand shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for the genre. There's
Especially
like
for the genre.
so many bands are just always in Southern California or Bay Area and stuff. So, just being in that scene was sick. Yeah.
That's fucking
There's not a huge amount of emo bands in Colorado.
Dude, I find that very interesting to hear you say that because, like I said, I have a student at the studio in Longmont that I teach at who's obsessed with it. And so, I mean, like, I must have, like, a distorted sense of proportion with it because we've had other emo bands on, you know, and I'm just like, all right, dude, like the 5 that there are in northern Colorado, we've just had them all on the show.
We're finding all of y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh yeah. It's definitely an emerging genre here. It would still be considered an emerging genre.
I agree.
And I was actually going to ask, like, so is that the genre that you guys would say you fall into? Would be like Midwest emo or even grunge? Because like listening to the songs before, like it's a little heavier. Right?
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say you guys definitely have an edge to you, dude.
That's
you
a good way to put it. There's an edge to it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably less Midwest, and we probably are more influenced by like heavier like screamo and hardcore stuff, but then also a lot of, I guess not hardcore screamo, like twinkly screamo stuff.
Name bands, dude. What bands?
You're gonna get a lot of terms.
You said name bands.
That is a completely foreign one to me. So you're gonna have to tell me who falls into twinkly.
Bands like Algernon Cadwallader, Snowing versus Self, Numbers. I guess those are more like heavier. Marietta.
I don't got. I can't think. I'm not I'm not well versed in my screamo emo.
My biggest, I think as of late, my biggest influence for writing has been probably like Verse Self. Like the Verse Self and Algernon Cadwalder are probably the two biggest influences for writing for this band.
Okay. Now, actually, a little bit before we were filming, you were speaking on the way that you tune.
Oh yeah.
Now, does that come from bands? He's laughing, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Does it?
Verse Self does some gnarly tunings.
No
like
shit.
they have to play like, I think Kyle from Verse Self has to play like baritone guitars just to get the tunings that like they want to use. Algernon uses
so low?
Yeah, like it's so low that like I think the low string is like a B, and then everything else. I don't know. It's
And are these 6-string guitars?
yeah,
dude?
Oh.
yeah.
No shit.
I just remember reading about how they tune the guitar and stuff. I was like, oh, I mean, I can't do this I have to like buy a guitar to do this because I'll destroy any guitar that I have. So I bought a separate guitar to kind of experiment with tunings
Literally
like
to just
that.
be able to do it,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
The one of the dudes from a band from Denver called Talking Point. Yeah, dude, they're fucking so good, huh?
super good.
Aren't
Like
they
those
pretty
guys.
good?
Yeah.
But he was speaking on. I guess he was pretty influenced by American football.
Yeah,
and said that there were a lot of just copying the tunings, dude.
Yeah, Algernon, I use like one of the tunings I used was just like the tuning that Algernon uses, but I was like, I want to be heavier, so I just tuned it a half step down.
There you go.
That's all. Like,
There you go.
That's all. But so that's one. Just any of those math rock tunings, and then I'll just like tune them a half step down because they're too like bright or whatever. But
Right. Okay. Because this is fascinating to me. I'm a guitar player. Like, I don't really consider myself to have my stripes. I can operate the instrument fairly competently, but I've never done a gig. And so I'm all like, I don't know, but I know a reasonable amount about the instrument. I get people started with it, I teach it. And that's what's fascinating to me, dude. Like, actually, Graham, you're the first person that I have heard someone say, like, you have to have a dedicated guitar because the tuning itself will fuck up your guitar.
yeah, I have to have like for shorts. I have like 3 guitars that are in that tuning, and I have a tech, and he like has.
Oh,
he,
no
like,
shit.
He like
Okay.
puts them. He sets them up for me. Josh, like I say, I have a tech, but it's just fucking
It's Josh. Bro. Josh.
Yo, that's
Shout out to Josh.
shout out to Josh, dude. Shout out to Josh. Yo, you have a tech, bro. You have a tech.
He likes to be called my tech. He plays in a great band called Monkey Man, so shout out to Monkey Man.
Shout out to Monkey
They're like
Man,
one
dude.
of the best bands out. They're so sick.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
But I have to. Yeah, I can't. Those guitars can't really be in any other tunings. Like I've destroyed those things.
Now, okay. I've heard for certain stuff with alternative tuning that you have to get a guitar set up.
Yeah.
Right? So then those guitars that you have for shorts stay in that tuning.
Yeah.
Dedicated to that tuning. I mean, like, is it literally destructive, or is it just that, like, good fucking luck trying to tune it back to E?
Kind of both. Like, yeah, it would mess it up pretty bad.
I mean,
right?
like, so one of the tunings Graham uses, like, I don't even, for 62-ish, and
It's a D, G, F sharp, A, D, E.
so the tension of the strings, right, when you're in standard, all the tension's the same. And, like,
Yes.
you go into drop D, and it's like, oh, you got, like, one string that's less tense. This tuning is basically slowly twisting the neck. Because it's like the tension of the low strings is so low, but the tension of the high strings is so high. And then there's one in the middle that's just like, was it the G?
So the usual D on a guitar, I tune all the way up to an F sharp.
Yeah,
Holy
like it's
shit.
It's like 3
it's
steps
terrible.
up, I think, or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's terrible. It's so bad.
So it's slowly,
Yeah,
the necks are turning into a spiral.
Yes, yes. And you have to get, when you do tunings like that, you have to get the guitar re-intonated, perfects.
Right.
Because it wants to be in standard.
Right.
Otherwise, when you start getting into these, Midwest emo, math rock, American football tunings, you're starting to get in some weird territories with string tensioning.
Right.
Where you can definitely slowly screw up your guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence Graham's 4 guitars.
I bought a guitar entirely for it because the guitarist from Verse Self uses those guitars. So I bought a Reverend Buckshot, and I was like, it should be able to handle it.
Yeah.
It's doing great. It's holding up.
Okay.
And it like the altitude changes and the humidity changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I think, dude, is like, do you like is there like a 10-degree temperature difference that the guitar sits in for half an hour and then the thing is basically tied in a knot? Or like, does it
maybe?
I was surprised when we went to California. There wasn't a broken guitar.
Oh, okay.
Before like a gig or after a gig, like one of them just like they all made it through. I was impressed because like with the humidity and the temperature change, we went there during that huge heat wave.
Right.
I mean, it hit 100 degrees in LA while we were there.
It was so hot.
It was wild.
Wowie
Yeah,
zowie.
it was crazy. So I'm very impressed. Shout out Josh. They made
out
it
Josh.
through.
Shout out Josh, dude.
He's done magic on him. Like I don't think it's perfectly intonated because I don't know if it can. He was like, "Hey man, this is as good as I'm gonna get."
I was going
like,
to say the
sweet.
same thing. Can it be perfectly?
I don't
Right.
think so.
Yeah,
I don't
most
think
likely
so.
not.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. And then people were like, "I want to learn that song. What tuning's in it?" I'm like, "Don't. You will destroy one of your guitars. Don't do this."
Don't do it with like your dad's telly.
No.
You know, like,
It will get destroyed.
It'll get fucked up, dude.
That is kind of an interesting characteristic of the genre, though, is that a lot of the bands just seem to be like, I'm going to do the craziest kind of odd tuning I can think of, you know? Like, when you write, does that inspire the tuning, or does your tuning inspire the songs? So, like, are you trying to, like, hit a note or something, you're like,
No,
and it's not quite there, and you're like, oh, I've got to tune this up. I don't think most people would do that, right?
No, I just try and like, I don't know. It's like a, with that tuning specifically, I was just simply like, I'll just tune strings until it sounds cool when I play it open, and I'm like, let's start making up chords. I don't really know what I'm like doing, but no, like we had so few songs post like first couple shows, and then I came up with that tuning, and then we were just I would come up with like a riff, and we would just write songs super quick.
Yeah, we
like,
ran
once
with it.
once I would show up with a new like tuning or some new idea or something like that, the songs would just come really fast. So
Oh, okay.
when there's a bunch of new short songs, it'll be because there's a new tuning and a new guitar I've destroyed.
So that's interesting then. So, like, in a way, the tuning kind of influences or inspires the songs then, right? Because you've got a new tuning to mess with. Hey, I'm going to see what I can come up with.
Yeah, you
here,
get new
like-
sounds that you couldn't get, and the tunings are so like drastically different that the songs all sound and feel somewhat different. But I think that's kind of the thing we try and do is make them sound cohesive in an album, but they're very drastically like differently played and stuff.
So each song, when you guys play live, you're having to switch out. the
Yeah,
guitars,
we have to like lay out the set list where I'm at least playing like a guitar for 2 songs in a row because it gets a little like just ridiculous.
I run out of
like,
stuff to say. Like,
It's just
I'm like, ah.
I've been to those shows where like they're changing guitars every single song, and it's like, boys.
I know, I'm like, we play heavier music, and it's like hot and like there's a lot going on. I'm just like oh my god.
You got to keep the energy levels
Yeah, and
up.
I'm trying to change guitars as fast as I can to kill the dead space, but I'm like I can't breathe. I'm so tired. Like,
Right, dude. I'm left with the impression though that it is almost like baked into the culture of the music. Like it's not Shorts isn't the only band that is having to cultivate in between song banter. That's just going to be what it's like if you're at a show where you're using 2 or 3 different tunings.
Yeah.
Kind of at the same gig. I was curious about that too, Kyle, what you said about what comes first, the tuning or the song. And I don't know, that's inspiring to me, dude. You have so much has been done, and then so much has been done to death. And that's like motivating that you with an instrument that is as culturally familiar as the guitar, that you can do an interesting tuning and then all of a sudden just have a flood of new ideas, dude.
Yeah, and then it's like we've had some songs where like Ari was like, I went to this show and this beat was cool, I want to do this, and then we're like, well, I know this tuning a little better now, so you kind of like, so you get that initial burst, and then we kind of settle into it where it's like, everybody's kind of coming up with ideas and stuff.
That's awesome.
I appreciate the alternate tunings as well. Growing up, I was a fan of Soundgarden. And so all of
some
that,
weird
like if you
tunings.
ever look at like the tabs or trying to learn Soundgarden music, you just throw it away. You're just like, fuck
Yeah,
this,
it's
dude.
like all D, like
yeah. I remember it was like, what is it, like Black Hole Sun? It's like B B B B B. All
Yeah,
Bs.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
The
okay,
G
guys.
string is just an actual literal cooked spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's what you're working with there. Kim Thile, what were you doing?
Yeah, exactly. But all that to say, in a way, the unique tunings help differentiate bands. bands, right? Because even though bands might all be sort of like somewhat adjacent to one another, yeah, we're emo, we're screamo, we're Midwest emo or whatever, the different tunings make the songs and the bands stand out to me when I hear them. Jared from Talking Point was talking about that as well, because he was like, I change the tunings up all the time.
Yeah.
And Paul's asking him like, what the fuck chord is that? And he's, I don't know.
That's what I was saying. Dude, Zane, I don't know how he does it, because he's like, what is it? I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You'd
This
almost
is
have
just
to-
the chord that I came up with.
You'd have to like play every note. This is an A, this is a C, this is an E, this is an F or whatever, and be like, well, I guess we're, an A minor fucking 7 or something like that.
An E fucked up 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you do, with them, you're looking at his left hand, and it just looks like somebody stepped on a bug. You're like, how would, it's like you're tying your hand in a knot. But I suppose, just like anything else, you just get used to it, right? You just kind of get acclimatized to, is it weird just picking up like a Fender Starcaster acoustic and just strumming a G? Like,
I go to like, I mean, the other bands I play with, it's mostly standard. But I definitely, if I'm playing a lot of short songs and I go to like Guitar Center, I'm like, I'm not gonna ruin one of these guitars here to play what I want to play. I do not write well in standard.
Really?
I don't. Yeah, I got bored with it. I think. I don't know.
I don't think. Well, you know what? Actually, I think that circles back. I don't think you could be faulted for that, dude. There's those parameters.
Yeah.
6-string guitar, standard tuning.
Yeah.
I could see how someone might struggle to come up with something novel or inspiring.
Well, I don't know. It's just like, I have so much respect for people who just stay. I'm not creative enough to just stay in standard. I have to like do a bunch of weird stuff. Like, I don't.
I would argue it's just as creative, dude. There's great guitar players that play in standard all the time.
Yeah.
That would probably, like, what the how do we what? I'm just trying to play a B.
Yeah, there's genre-defining bands where like the other bands are doing. Like, I think like Sonic Youth, they use some of the gnarliest tunings.
No shit.
But then Dinosaur Jr. and Jay Mascis, their guitarist, they're kind of like similar genre, similar sounds.
Okay.
Both like very highly respected, but he just stays in standard. He hasn't written a single song not in standard, and I don't even know how long they've been a band.
No shit, dude.
So yeah, it's like, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, you got me thinking, like, because the dudes in the Melvins will tune their guitars all over the place.
Early B-52s, some are like the gnarliest tunings.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to hear somebody reference the fucking B-52s today.
Today's B-52s.
They're tuning. It would be like BBXX, like no strings, and then like EE.
Yeah.
He'd play like what's his name?
Like Rock Lobster.
Yeah, no, that tuning is in, I think it's BBXX.
That's why I brought
FFX.
That's why I brought that up. I forget the guitar player's name, but dude, I actually saw B-52s in Georgia when I was a little kid.
Oh, so he would have been in the band.
He was in the band, and I little kid. Really, the only thing I remember is the girls. They were wearing their like outfits.
Yeah.
And I must have been fucking 5, dude. And I just remember like looking up and their boobs like sticking out, dude, like over my head. I was like, hey, that's cool.
You were not perhaps paying as close attention to what the guitar player was doing.
This is
at that
relevant
time.
to my interest.
Yeah, look up some B-52 tunings. It's like the gnarliest stuff I've ever seen.
Oh
Like,
shit!
Look up like a guitar cover on YouTube and see them play it. And you're just
Well,
like,
dude, it's funny you bring that up. How often have you seen anybody cover a B-52 song?
properly in those tunings, it's very rare.
It's
And then after the guitarist died, and I think the tunings got normal again.
Yeah.
But he had some crazy tunings.
Yeah, that little journey from Love Shack backwards.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Graham walks into the store, buys a guitar. Hey, thanks, man. I condemn you to living death.
Just destroy him, dude. I don't have any like super nice guitars because of that. I usually just play like Mexican Fenders.
There you go.
Like get anywhere to like $700 to like $1,000 guitars. I'm like, I can mess this up a decent bit over the course of like 4 or 5 years. I don't feel too bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy anything vintage and put it in D, G, F sharp, A, D, E.
When you were first starting out, did you like mess with the tuning, and then all of a sudden like you go to pick up the guitar and the whole thing is like shaped like a C or
it
something?
just won't like hold the tuning
At all.
And I didn't understand like the notes and like the order of the notes, so I'd be like I'd break strings all the time just by I'd keep tuning it up like I tune it like the wrong way to get like A, and I'd like explode a string
Instead of like dropping it down a half step.
Yeah.
That.
I would tune it like all the way up because I'd see a tuning online or something, or like in a book or something, and I'd do it on like a tuning app, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I do that a lot. Destroy my dad's guitars.
That's a pretty sweet 1956 gold top Les Paul. Be a shame if someone played Algernon on it.
Yeah, just like drop D open A. And that tuning's pretty inoffensive for guitars. That one, it handles that one okay. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that's fucking fascinating. So you mentioned, obviously we talked about some like bands, Midwest or otherwise, but also we just dropped like the B-52s, dude, and Dinosaur Jr. What are some bands that you guys are influenced by that either like are proto those styles, or maybe even bands that just have nothing to do with emo music? What are you into?
Dinosaur Jr.
Hell yeah.
Dinosaur Jr. is my favorite band ever.
Fuck yeah.
Like that was my first concert I ever went to.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like the reason I play guitars because I saw Jay Mascis when I was like 10. The absolute like You're Living All Over Me is my favorite album of all time.
That's awesome.
They're like that's my biggest hands down inspiration.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, and you literally don't hear that often.
I was going to say it's extremely unique. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are aware of who Dinosaur Jr. is, but you are the first person who I've ever heard be like, Dinosaur Jr. favorite band.
Like principal
definitively,
influence.
like not even close.
You won't shut up about it.
Yeah, you didn't even.
I love them so much.
Oh my God.
I love them so. I've seen them live like 3 or 4 times now. Yeah, I was like 10 years old. My dad took me to that concert, which is a wild thing to do. It was like a really old school punk band.
That's
opening
how I
for
ended
them.
up seeing the B-52s, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Your father
I
took
shouldn't
you
have
to
been
a
at that
gig,
fucking
dude.
place, dude.
It was so loud, and yeah, I just loved it. I was super down with it.
And so that it just flipped the switch for you. You were like, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's fucking rad.
Ari knows all the best bands though. He's put me on more bands than anyone I know.
Yeah, Ari's a freak like that.
What are your bass inspirations?
Hum.
Oh, Hum.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they? What was the song about? There it is, dude. She's out back counting stars.
There you go.
Yeah.
What else? You mentioned Sonic Youth, Smashing Pumpkins, Old Modest Mouse. But honestly, though, you asked for like non-emo bands. I mostly listen to that. I have to shout out Two Nights. They're like my goats, but they're definitely emo. Rainer Maria. What else? My Buddy Valentine a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, just a lot of rock music.
Sick.
But I listen to other stuff. I don't know. What you got?
I mean, unlike you two, I go off the wall. Like, my biggest bass inspirations was the bass player for Jamiroquai.
Hell yeah.
And the first Funkadelic album.
Okay.
And Peter Hook of New Order were
Nice.
like my big 3. But I listen to a lot of jazz and like jazz fusion stuff.
I am obsessed with you now.
Are you guys gonna go to the garage? And do
Yeah,
karate
it's gonna get weird out there, and it's gonna get weird out there to the return to forever. It's gonna get bizarre. So that's sick. Who do you like in jazz?
So I listen to a lot of Japanese jazz, which is very random, from like the 70s to the 90s.
You are not the first person that I have heard extol those virtues, dude.
Yeah, Japanese jazz is on a wind right now, which is beautiful. But like, I love Charlie Parker.
Yes.
Love Miles Davis. Dave Brubeck Quintet.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
But like Japanese, I got really into this. The whole was getting into this Japanese fusion band called Cassiopeia.
Bro, I've heard that band referenced 2 or 3 times in 3 days.
That band is crazy. Mint Jams (parentheses live), one of the craziest live albums I've ever heard. T Squared, who did the music for Mario Kart 8. They're awesome.
That's amazing.
I mean, yeah, that's like Japanese jazz fusion is some of the gnarliest stuff I've ever heard. And then like if you go back in the 70s, there's this guy named Ryo Fukui who, like, in my opinion, perfected the like Western jazz sound.
Okay.
He's a piano player. He made this album called Scenery, just a masterpiece.
No shit.
He's got Autumn Leaves on it. and it is easily the best version of that song I've heard.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
And that's with Graham, with all these tunings, listening to a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, I thought my ear was good before, and then he had to kick me into gear because he can't tell me what notes he's playing.
No, I don't know what notes I'm playing ever.
And,
I don't know
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and like I was you guys are in a 2-piece.
Yes.
And like I was in a 2-piece punk band for a year and a half.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't use any backing tracks. And I ran my bass through a guitar amp and a bass amp. Guitar amp had distortion.
Yeah.
Bass amp had fuzz, and I was playing a guitar with my foot. And me and the other member, all we listened to was jazz. And I got really into harmony and like getting into like harmony theory and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I get into shorts with Graham, and I'm like, oh, I can go crazy.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I can go
because
nuts.
he's got such like lush,
yeah.
beautiful chords.
These chords and the chord structures are so complicated, even though they don't sound that way. I mean,
Right.
there's so many goddamn notes in these chords. So I'm like picking. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm just like, oh, I'm
That's
gonna do
awesome.
this note. I'm gonna do this note.
I feel a strong kinship with you there, actually. So Kyle knows this about me. Although we both listen to a lot of music that has nothing to do with metal, I truly am cosplaying being a metal guy, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's how I felt in the punk band.
you know, yeah, like I really, it's not that I don't love the music, but it's like my favorite drummer of all time is Dennis Chambers.
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like, and I like Chambers, Dave Weckl, Vinnie
Yeah.
Colaiuta.
Yeah.
Not that I don't also love Dave Lombardo and Gene Hoglan, who played on the Death records and shit like that. Sean Ryder, but Sean Ryder had jazz training. But yeah, I listen to a lot of jazz, and it very powerfully informs, even in a metal context.
Yeah.
The way that I play.
Yeah.
I like Autumn Leaves, you're saying. I'm like, okay, I'll turn the Morbid Angel off for a second and then put on Someday My Prince Will Come by Bill Evans. I know, dude. I know.
I mean, yeah, that kind of stuff. It's just like, and especially being in a 2-piece where the only tonal thing going on was my bass.
Yes.
I had to be the melody and the rhythm and everything. It was so much fun. Dream is a bass player. If you're gonna be a bass player, try to be in a 2-piece with just the drummer. I mean, it gets you really good, really quick. And listening to jazz, it taught me a lot about, well, I don't have to play in the box. When you're
Right.
learning bass, it's a lot of stick to the root notes. Oh, you need to have groove, like learn the Sly and the Family Stone song.
Right.
And it's like jazz taught me, in combination with loving Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus in my 13, 14-year-old time. I was like, well, I got this arsenal of tritones and jazz. I'm going to go crazy. And I mean, to this day, that band, I made some of my favorite bass riffs, most catchy bass riffs I've ever made.
Yeah.
And I think listening to jazz, it's not everyone's cup of tea. And like, no music is everyone's cup of tea. But like from a how do I not be stuck in the box? Just like slowing down jazz to like 0.25 speed and listening to every instrument, you're like, oh, everyone's working together, but they're all doing their own thing, and that's crazy.
And dude, now it's very funny that you say that. I got to jazz late. I started realizing that all the drummers that I admired, that had all the capabilities that I was interested in, all had a jazz background. And so I'm like, I have to figure it out. And I'm putting on Charlie Parker, Au Pravave, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And not realizing that it's, at least for me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but a weird feeling. I had to be educated how to listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, he's playing the head, and now they're blowing over the changes, and they go back to the head at the end of the tune. But I don't think that this is true, but I have heard people make the argument that it really is the hardest genre. And like I said, I would not agree necessarily in a direct way with that sentiment, but I will say that I understand why someone would make that claim.
I mean, to your testament, I mean, there's a degree where you have to learn how to listen to jazz.
You do, dude.
Unless you're listening to like Muzak. If you're listening to elevator Muzak, that's different. And like, I'm terrible at playing jazz. Like, if you put me in a jazz band right now on bass, like, I'm flopping. I'm terrible at playing it. But like, just listening to jazz and then getting past that barrier of listening how to learn it, like, and you have some degree of musical ability, it is super easy to fake playing jazz. I mean, we'll be soundchecking or whatever. I'll just like pretend to start walking. And only the true cats know that I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, and that's what's the fun part about jazz is that you get so up here into jazz that to be really good, it's almost like you have to work backwards.
Right.
You know? And it's kind of the same thing with listening to jazz. Where you can get, really in your head about it and be like, oh, this is crazy. And then you fall back down.
Right.
And then you're like, well, I'm going to, that's how I actually started getting into like bossa nova and samba stuff.
Yes.
Was I got thrown back down to the ground and I was like, I'm just going to listen to this because it's like, I'm just going to listen to this.
Yeah, exactly right.
Everything about, learning how to listen to it, playing it, whatever. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm just into this.
I hear a lot of people have a similar sentiment about music theory. They'll say, it's good to learn theory and then forget about it, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'll kind of put you in a box as far as like writing and stuff like that. Oh, I can't use this note because it's not in the right key.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
scared to learn it a little
Yeah, that's
bit.
Graham's whole thing. Like,
I'm like, well, I know, like, I feel like I should because I can't like jam. Like, I feel like that's what people like they say like, oh, you're good or whatever. Like, I'm not. I'm hack. Like, if you put me in like a jam, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
But I'm afraid. I think it's a lot of what the tunings is because so with standard where I get like bored with it. It's because it's really just because I don't know what I'm doing. So I run out of ideas really fast. I know like 4 jazz chords. And I'm like, all right, what's next? What if I tune this to this thing? That would sound cool.
Right.
But yeah, I'm like very afraid of getting put in that like situation where I just rely on the theory and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this.
We have talked about this on previous episodes. I have a lot of training. I have a lot of formal training, and I'm proud of it, and I feel good about it because the sounds that I always wanted, I began to realize I couldn't get them if I wasn't trained. Mm-hmm. But you do fall a little bit into it. I look at you, and I'm like, you're just pure. Like, does this have the vibe? Does this move me?
I've never had like a lesson before or anything. Like no nothing.
Dude, so you're pioneering, dude.
Not really. No. I'm just like ripping off tunings of bands I like, kind of, and changing them a little bit. But.
Yeah, but you have the burden of knowledge, Graham. You know what it takes to. You're like, oh, dude, it's like I like this one song by this band. I'm just going to do that tuning. Oh, even if it calls something to your mind, you're in less charted territory.
Yeah.
There's not as much mileage on these kinds of tunings as there are, on like the standard tuning thing, dude. Like maybe if it was 1970 something and you wrote More Than a Feeling by Boston, that was like fresh at the time, but you gotta lean on new stuff. I say this as an educator that if you do not have readily available vetted cleaned up and organized resources for learning a certain style of music, it's still alive. Like think about every guitar center you've been in and you can walk in and there's like the dad rock section. It's like Fleetwood Mac, and like, no shade to Fleetwood Mac, like it's good music, but all of that has, or even a band like Metallica, Metallica, their entire compendium of music in a tab book that like you're buying from an employee in a music store, whereas show me a tab, for half of the stuff that you're talking about.
I was just going to say the same thing. Can you even find tabs for them?
Yeah, you ain't finding. Yeah, because because he loves the band 2 Nights. He put me on 2 Nights is Sick, and he's like, "Can we learn this song?" I'm like, "How am I gonna like?" I don't really read tabs.
You'd have to
like,
email the band.
Yeah,
be like,
you have to like
pictures
DM
of
their
your fingers,
Instagram and be
please.
like, "How do you play this?"
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what
They'd be
tuning
like,
are you
well,
in?
actually, for what it's worth, most of the guys seem to be so cool. They'd probably be like, well, actually, here's how you do it.
I've done that before. I've like DM'd a band like, "What tuning do you use?" Or I've like gone up to him after a show and been like, "What tuning do you use?"
Oh, that's fucking. And they were cool about it.
Yeah, now everybody does it to me.
Everyone's like, Graham.
I went up to a band we forgot to shout out. I think I don't know if y'all said it. Captain Jazz.
Oh,
Jazz.
dude,
Captain-
yeah.
I
What
have
are
my
we
Captain
doing?
Jazz shirt
Captain
on.
Jazz,
Literally
the
wearing a
goats.
Captain Jazz shirt.
The first thing the guitarist walked over, and he's like absolute legend. And the first thing I asked was like, "What tuning do you use?" He was like standard. I was like, "Shit!" Like, like dang. I was like, "How are you doing? You're like, they're like the greatest band one of the greatest bands ever.
No shit.
I
doing
think
all
they're
this
the
shit
greatest band of all
standard,
time.
Like, they're up there.
Yeah.
As far as our genre,
Yeah.
would not exist. American football would not exist without Captain Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
None of
No
those bands would exist without
shit.
Captain Jazz.
So Captain Jazz predates American football.
He knows more about Captain Jazz than I do.
It's true. Or he's the Captain
What do you want
Jazz
me to say?
scholar, bro.
The history.
Yeah.
History, Captain Jazz. TLDR.
I like how he just hands you the microphone, and you're like, "What do you want me to say?"
He's putting on that band. He knows more about those bands than like anybody I know.
I mean, they made their record when they were teenagers, and then the drummer ended up being the singer in American football, singer and guitar player.
Oh no shit.
But it was pretty much just a family band. It was like 3 cousins,
Hot
two brothers, and then some cousins mixed in there, I think. They made one album, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And it like pretty much spawned like all these other second wave emo bands in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like created the emo underground in
I don't know.
Chicago and Illinois.
Okay.
You know? I mean, one of the most influential bands of all time in the 90s that gets
No
forgotten
shit.
about, you know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Not really forgotten because they still sell out all their shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
but I mean,
album
like-
and they'll sell out any.
Yeah,
like,
like
they
last-
played Summit.
They're not like
Summit
they're not like
recently.
the Smashing Pumpkins, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like they're almost like Captain Jazz is to emo what like Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth was to, and the Melvins were to like grunge.
Oh,
And like
okay.
Yeah.
and then Dinosaur Jr. and the Sonic Youth of the world became almost like the Smashing Pumpkins of the world. And then the Captain Jazzes of the world became like almost the American Footballs of the world. Like
Okay, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
must listen to band.
Right, and that one record phenomenon, dude. So I've mentioned this on other episodes as well. I am a 1 to 3 records guy, even for bands that I'm obsessed with. Like there's some bands where like it's that one record for me, dude. Whatever you're doing on that next album or the album before it, just I'm not feeling it, dude.
Yeah.
And so like. That makes a certain amount of sense to me that they just put out this one like iconic record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's also a beauty to it because like all right, like I'm not really like a fucking like glam metal or like hair band guy, but I think of like Motley Crue, dude.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the band Motley Crue?
Not well.
So that's fine.
That's probably for the best.
All that I was it's just they. What you guys are familiar with is the phenomenon of artists existing for so long that they start to become cover bands of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's where a band like Motley Crue is at. Like, it's just such a shadow of its former self. But then you have that one crystalline, pure moment in time, that one album of however many songs it is, and it's inviolate. It's perfect. They didn't have that record or those 2 records that came after it that sort of like popped the magical bubble.
That's so many emo and math rock bands.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's like a lot.
You could say that for a lot of bands in general. Just
Yeah.
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 I mean, like you brought up Metallica earlier. Like that moment in time for me is "Kill 'Em All" by Metallica, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
And like they had their, I mean, you know, "Ride the Lightning" and the Black Album, you know, like beautiful albums. And then there's just kind of this point where it was like I remember reading about how, what's his name? Not Kurt, the other guitarist in the Metallica.
James.
Yeah. He had to buy a tab book from Guitar Center because he forgot the solo in one of the, you know, I think it was one of the songs on Ride the Lightning.
No shit.
Yeah, like
dude.
that. I mean, you know, when you start getting to that point, you know, you're 15 albums down.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I don't blame him.
When you're
Yeah.
that much of a commodity that you could just, I forgot how to play this song. I'm gonna go down the street.
Yeah.
Buy my music.
Let me go
Like,
to
that's
Guitar
crazy.
Center. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, what I was about to say, I wonder if he paid for it.
No,
Yeah,
they-
he just made unbroken eye contact,
he's like, "Come
and
on,
they
bro."
just hand him 2 copies.
no, I mean, I kind of like the idea more of like they're like, why does this old guy want to learn Metallica?
Yo, that's real.
Like, you know,
That's
like,
so
like,
real.
what's going on?
They
you know?
might not have even known it was him. Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
That's funny to me. But yeah, now Metallica, there's people, they had played in Denver or something either earlier this year or last year, and people say that they're still phenomenal, but the same cannot be said for everyone.
it's true.
And yeah, I don't know, there is. I sort of get that vibe of just like this one perfect moment, dude. It just, and it's there indefinitely, dude. It never spoils.
There's a grunge record that comes to mind, the Temple of the Dog record.
Yep.
That's right, dude.
They only made one record, right?
They put out one record. It was a great record.
It
dude.
was very good, dude.
It was
super,
good.
super good. I mean, still to this day, like on the radio, they'll play that song "Going Hungry" or something like that.
Oh yeah, the one.
song.
Yeah, that was great too.
It's
Yeah.
It like,
Hunger
makes
Strike.
me want to cry for
Yeah.
some reason, dude. It's like, oh my god, why do I feel this way?
It was wild.
Yeah, and then you roll down the window and be like, I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNugget and a Diet Coke.
This deeply emotional moment.
I'm just spoiled.
Yeah, you are definitely not going hungry in that moment.
Yeah.
You're
You
about
got the joke. Thanks, Paul.
You're about to neck some nuggets.
So you know what, guys? I wanted to ask you about something though. So you brought the CD, right? And we saw that there isn't a whole lot of music. There's not a whole lot of Shorts music out there.
No.
And yet, on Spotify, when you check out numbers, you guys are over 2,000 monthly listeners.
That's right.
So describe to us the meteoric rise of Shorts. The
Meteoric rise.
Well, because there are a lot of bands who have been going at it for, 5, 6, 7, 10 plus years and may never even get to that number.
I mean, yeah, emo, especially in the realm of emo that we are in, is such a niche where, the people that love it.
Yeah.
And
Rabid about it.
yes, and Spotify specifically, like it's built on being on playlists. I mean, like I've known bands that will have, local bands. They got like 1,000 monthly listeners, but like it's one song, and it's because they're on like a workout playlist for like no reason.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah,
like because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all about plays, and we know some really cool people that are in charge of some really awesome playlists. Hank of Midwest Meow,
Yeah, there's a lot of people who
Marco
just like.
of
Somehow
Midwest
People
Murky.
just found it. That
People
has
just
some
found it.
Sort of influence, but
Yeah.
I don't even know how they calculate those numbers. Honestly, I don't like. What does the 2,000 mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Like,
can
yeah.
tell you that means that in 28 days, 2,000 and whatever, I think it's a 2.2 thousand
Sweet.
people have listened to or visited and listened to your Spotify.
Oh, sweet.
But it cycles over every 24 days. Is how
But it
that
doesn't. But it doesn't go back to zero every month.
because theoretically nobody listens. Well, you don't have months that nobody's listening to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just like, it's whatever is in the 28-month chunk. The next day, it's 28 months, just less one day.
Right.
It's cool. It's like we played. It's
Yeah, I don't know.
one like getting music out pretty early, grinding, and just playing shows, saying yes to a lot, and then just like I don't know. I think we made some good songs, and then like playing at the Marquee was big because like we just had the right people listen to it and give us the right opportunities. So we got to play pretty big shows early on with bigger influential bands who liked our music, which was great. And then obviously coming back from California, that went like super well. So that's helping, I think.
That's
too.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the tour bump is a real thing.
Yeah,
like
dude.
if you're
Yeah.
out touring, it's a. I mean, we see it every time we go out.
Yeah.
It's just like the numbers go wow
Yeah,
straight up,
it's-
and then
it's a big deal.
And then you just kind of see them trickle off as you
Yeah.
sit
And there's,
home
like,
on your duff. You know?
Instagram accounts dedicated to like Midwest emo and screamo music who have found us, and we're like a niche band. We're like they post icebergs and stuff, and we're at like the bottom.
So funny.
That's cool. Like
Yeah.
we've officially made it to like niche Midwest
It's
emo bands.
crazy,
Like,
actually.
yeah,
I
so
can't
that-
fathom.
I don't know
it.
how they found it. I don't know how they figured it out, but they just scour Spotify, I guess.
Shout out the internet.
That was a big one.
Yeah, shout out the internet.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of assistance of just you'll see a random Midwest emo account that just posts music with like 20,000 followers, just throw a short song up. And we're like,
Hell yeah.
suggested song of the day, and we're like, cool, that's gonna help. Yeah, like sweet.
Wow, that's interesting because it's definitely I would definitely consider it to still be a niche genre. Like if I was at a family function this weekend and I was like, anybody listen to that Midwest emo?
Yeah.
They'd all look at me like I had 10 fucking
man.
heads. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys get this.
Hey.
every time
It'd
you
be
go out.
worse if you just played it without saying anything.
Oh yeah, then they give you it's like the meme video where they just look. At
I
you
don't like
what
this
the
singing.
fuck?
Yeah, dude, straight up.
My parents are like, "What do I tell my friends?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I
How
don't
do
know.
I
Tell
explain
them I'm
this
in a
to your
punk band.
grandmother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom's always like, I like the instrumental, I just don't like the screaming.
Dude,
Yeah.
I get so many people are like, I really like this. Why are you yelling? Are you angry? Like, And I'm talking to people, and they're like, so what kind of music do you play? And I'm like, I always just kind of default to grunge, because I'm like, that's a genre people know.
Yeah, I say punk or grunge when my family friends ask.
Yeah, and because that term and genre has been around for fucking 3 years now, people are like, oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, my dad and his buddies know what punk is.
Yeah.
They also know grunge is, but yeah, my dad knows. My dad likes Midwest emo music a lot and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
But I mean, I would assume because you've exposed him
Yeah.
to it, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't know what to say to his like coworkers and stuff.
I mean, yeah, you have to like go through a weird history and then explain how like Midwest emo isn't in the Midwest.
He's like,
know?
he's like, do you know the band American Football? They're like, no. He's like, all right, well, he's
Yeah, that
it's
was it.
punk.
That's done. That's done.
He's in a punk band.
They bring up the Reddit feed and be like, emo and music. started
Essentially,
in
that's the other
London,
thing. Getting someone to throw up a Reddit comment, being like, "Have you heard this Shorts?" That's another big help.
Reddit has actually been. I hear that more and more by musicians.
Yeah.
Is that somebody on a Reddit feed recommended us for like I don't know, music 120 BPM that somebody was looking for like a television show or something like that, and you'll just get these threads where people are just throwing music up there, and they're like, oh yeah, I heard about it. And I don't know. Reddit is getting. I feel like Reddit is it a social media platform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
It's like a forum.
it's a forum
It's a forum,
platform. It's
right?
probably the last standing one that's like still popular.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of when I was in college. They had 7string.org because 7-string guitars were still kind of like coming around. And dude, like, I know, kind of funny to think about. But yo, dude, anybody and everybody was on fucking 7string.org all the fucking time.
Yeah. Website name.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of nailed their market, right?
Yeah.
But Reddit, I feel like Reddit is an undervalued tool, right? Because there is a lot of fucking people out there on Reddit, man. And even if you search Google now and you're looking for like a Google, a question on Google,
Yeah,
it
Reddit
will
will
pull
always
up
pop up.
Reddit.
You got
man.
and you go to Reddit. I mean, Google's given the AI overview thing. I'm like skipping that. I'm going straight to the Reddit thread.
Yeah.
Right.
It's real human beings, which I appreciate. Reddit is like still one of the few corners of mainstream internet that's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It's like very unfiltered, very whack, gets crazy quick, but it's honest. It's brutally honest.
I think it's just the amount of like infinite niche like communities. I don't really use Reddit, but I know that like for people that are looking for their community, you can find it.
You can find them
And
there.
there's just like I know there's like an emo one, and then there's like 17 different subgenres of emo communities also. So it's like you got anyone that wants to go talk about what they're interested in, where they feel like they can't talk about it to people in their daily life face to face because they don't like necessarily know about it. They have a place to go like share.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the music kind of spreads well there.
I think we're going to see more and more bands saying that they got big or were found because of Reddit.
Because of Reddit, dude. Yeah.
We can, we could probably accredit some of that.
There you go.
Because like you said, like there's not a ton of a genre for it in Colorado, but that's why we knew we had to tour so early on. Because you're like, I mean, all this music is like in Southern California, so we need to get out there. I'm
gonna keep my animals from killing each other real quick.
That was
Give me 2
crazy.
seconds.
Yes.
Just watch the little spar.
That was so cute.
Oh my goodness.
You want to go outside? Then go outside.
It's a good cat.
This is a good cat.
Oh, Grizzo actually runs the house.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how it goes.
Grizzo will put Hercules in his place.
That's how it works at home. I have a cat and 2 dogs, and it's the cat that runs.
The cat that
There
runs
you
the
go.
roost,
She's
right?
old and she's fat and she's mean and yeah.
Grizzo's not exactly old yet. For those people that don't know, well, but most people have probably seen Grizzo walk up here, and
He's made more than one appearance.
he's made
It's
more
true.
than one appearance, so people know who Grizzo is. Grizzo is 8 years old. He is mean and he
Yeah.
is fat.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's not super old yet, but he's very aggressive and weighs like 3 times as much as he should. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dr. Anita for taking care of the kitty,
That's right.
keeping him alive.
But yeah, just I think too, just cashing in on opportunities that you get. That's probably
Yeah.
That's probably the last thing I would say about like how the success we've had.
I
We
agree.
played with a big screamo band called February, and we played good, and they liked us. So that
That's
helps a
awesome.
lot.
Yep.
And those are the homies.
Thanks,
Shout
February.
out February.
Thanks,
Shout
Abby.
out February, dude.
That's for what it's worth. The best advice I've ever had in the music industry was from a fella named Steve Evans. Steve Evans, did like Norma Jean and a bunch of big records, like I'm blanking out right now, The Cure and stuff like that. But he told me, because I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, what's the key to success?" And he was like, "You have to take every single opportunity that's in front of you.
Just say yes to like every show.
Take it." Because if you don't take it immediately, if you're the guy who's like, yeah, I don't know, man, I got to get back to Jersey tonight, like Pete the Boer story.
Yes, that's right.
If you're one of those guys who like tries to push it off or like, let me call you in 5 minutes or something like that, it's not going to happen, right? You got to just take it immediately,
Dude, and there can be trepidation around that. Corey Pierce, the drummer for the metal band God Forbid. I don't know if you guys ever heard of God Forbid. They were like 2000s metalcore kind of vibe. They're back now. They're doing it too. And that's the first tour that I ever went on, dude, is I was working for Corey. And he called me because I worked in a rehearsal studio in New Jersey that God Forbid started at. Like
Big Noise.
Yeah, Big Noise, dude. Have you ever heard of the band Bad Wolves? So the guitar player Doc, who plays for Bad Wolves, started out in God Forbid.
Yeah, that's like his origin story.
Yeah, that's where it came from. And Corey was like taking the opportunity. He's all like, dude, do you want to come tech for me? Like, you'll be out for like a month or whatever the hell it was. And I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. I have all these little gigs lined up and stuff. And he was like, so what you're saying is you don't have shit going on, huh? And he
called you out on it? Like
yeah, he was all like, fuck you, son. Like, I need a tech. And so I was all like, I kind of can't argue with that, man. What I'm getting, I used to play in this little jazz trio out there, and we would play at this literal like coffee and cookie place called the Cookie Cottage in Hamilton, New Jersey. And I'm like,
he's not making this up.
I love that.
yeah, I was like,
Jersey.
I thought about it. I was like, okay, he's gonna pay me X amount of money a week to be his drum tech. I was like, that's better than I'd do playing the Cookie Cottage. So probably I'm going to take the gig. And I did, and that led to working for Matt Byrne from Hatebreed for 2 months on the Ozfest tour. So that's, yeah, dude, you have to say yes.
Yeah, you
say
gotta
yes
say
to
yes.
shit, dude.
You gotta say yes, yeah. So how, like you said, you guys played with February, was that
Yeah.
right? And was that the one at the Marquee?
Yeah.
Did you guys end up, like, when you were playing shows, did you guys end up starting to play more around, like, Boulder and then venture out?
Yeah,
Or did you just go straight for, like, Denver?
We started out playing DIY shows in Boulder.
Yeah.
And we only really got to Denver like recently.
Yeah. Hey, if you want us for a Denver show, hit us up.
Yeah.
Please.
There it is.
Please.
Hit 'em up.
We haven't played in Denver much.
We want to play in
at
Denver
all.
more.
Same.
Yeah.
We played the Marquee, which is like that's like I never thought I'd get to play there. That place is so sick.
Yeah.
But we just recently played Seventh Circle for the first time.
Oh, I was going to ask you about
Yeah,
that.
my favorite
How
venue.
was it so
That
sick?
place,
dude?
yeah, that's like one of my favorite venues of all
Yeah.
time.
That's awesome.
And that's the one
I've
that
got my
like
membership card in the truck.
yeah, the place is so sick, and that's like a must-play venue for anybody in our genre. And D3 is the other one. So we gotta Next plan is go on tour again, then play fucking the DIYs in Denver more.
Hell yeah, dude.
Okay. Why do you say Oregon? Did you guys have something lined up there? Or do you guys have connections? Or
I just said tour again.
Oh, I thought you said Oregon. I was like, what's
Very
going on in
close.
Oregon?
Yeah, we need to tour more probably. But yeah, like you said, saying yes, I was like, all right, I'll just miss a week of school. Fuck
Straight
it.
up,
like
dude.
I'll just it's
You
fine.
know, at some point, you just have to weigh it out and be like, nah, dude, I'm going to do this other thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've said that to so many people, especially like younger growing up. Like, yeah, we're gonna go out, we're gonna do this tour, we're gonna go out, and we're gonna do this thing. Be like, yeah, but what do I do about school? Fuck school.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm
always go
sorry.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's
Always
what I'd
go
always say.
back.
College isn't going anywhere, bro.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah.
Are you going somewhere?
You're going to
or
miss a
not?
little homework. It's fine. Like,
Yeah, your professor's going to be upset, but they're actually going to be like really happy that you're doing something cool with your life.
Pretty much, like they were all like, I was so worried, and then when I got back and went to like office hours after being back from the tour, they're like, "How was it? How was San Diego? How was?" I was like, "It was cool."
Oh yeah, and you kind of get like the cool card pass after that.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I
you've
got
got a
extensions on
good-
assignments.
yeah, dude, yeah.
And if I
I got
was
more
going
time.
to like an aunt's funeral, I don't know if I'd get extensions on on assignments, but
Because
you're going on this cool tour.
They hear that shit all the time,
Yeah.
right? But then if you're like, actually, we're gonna go play in L.A. in Southern California, and it's fucking gonna be rad, and then they see it on social media, and they're like, yeah, okay, it is fucking rad,
dude. It is fucking rad, dude. Just going out on the road and doing it, dude. It really is like a street cred thing. And honestly, man, like Kyle and I talk about this all the time. We have seen it over and over again. You guys have your own frames of reference for this. Just, dude, people's lives in a general way are rife with difficulty and complication. People are overworked. People are underpaid. And they hear like the combination of words, yeah, my band is going to go play Southern California. And instantly people are fucking turned on, dude, because it gives them that little feeling of like, I'm talking to somebody that's doing something so very
I want to be doing.
that I want to be doing. Even just being adjacent to it lights people up, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a special thing. Dude, the love is real. That kid that I was telling you that I teach in Longmont, he was all like, dude, you have to have shorts on the show. It was, it's people do. They love it. They look up. They admire. It's a cred thing, dude.
Well, and, especially going out and touring, regionally, wherever it's going to be, nationally, whatever, your network fucking spreads.
Yeah,
you guys are seeing that, man. You guys,
It's crazy.
Yeah, we're just waiting to go back again. Like we're already figuring it out.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we have to go back. Like it was too sick.
Yeah,
So awesome.
Yeah, it was too fun, and it's just like to play a show to 70, 80 people in San Diego. There's those people have never heard you before.
Yeah.
That does it as much for you as playing in front of 400 people in Denver, just because it's a completely new crowd.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, because Kyle and I always talk about tour chops, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys had that experience where you're in fucking San Diego? I wish I could have seen you guys there. You're a great band, but we know enough from having been in the game for as long as we have that you probably fucking tore the roof off of that place because you're on the proving grounds.
Yeah.
You want to go back.
Yeah.
And you're trying to go back to San Diego, baby. So you're gonna literally just things come out of you and energy comes out of you. Not that it's impossible that it could emerge in an in-state show, but you're just such there is no world in which we play here once. We want to come back over and over and over again, and you just shine, dude.
Yeah, and it's that that it being an entirely new crowd, and it's like I said earlier, it's very different. There's so many bands out there that it's you gotta kind of set yourself apart, and and when you're in somewhere like that, and you play at a DIY venue in San Diego or something, you're all right, this band's from Colorado, let's see what they have, let's see what Colorado has going on, and you have to kind of almost
state.
you have to
rep
you have
the
to prove
state.
yourself.
Rep them, dude. Yeah, you gotta rep the squad, dude.
They're they're doing Screamo Mudosimo in Colorado. I wonder what it sounds like, and you have to show them what it sounds like, and you have to hopefully play good, or they probably won't let you back because it's competitive out there.
Yeah.
There's
Even
only
then-
so many bands to go on a 5-band bill at a DIY venue.
That's right.
And if you're gonna be a touring band, you have because they're gonna remember if we play good or not.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's huge too, because it's when you play in a different place, bringing the genre there, it's it tells bands from there who will want to go on tour to come here.
That's true. Yeah. So many bands are
they're
going to
want to play
Colorado.
with you.
Yeah. We got hit up multiple times by touring bands to play shows after playing, and just because you got to you got to show that it does exist and that it's worth the stop in Colorado. I think.
Right.
In the DIY scene, obviously the Algernon Cadwalders and Captain Jazzes of the world are going to play here regardless. But for the smaller bands that are planning out their first tours and stuff, you got to be the bands that play with each other.
Yeah, and show them that the proverbial juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah. This 9-hour drive is going to be sick because Colorado, it's pretty sick out here.
Yeah. Colorado is doing it out there.
Yeah, it's so sick.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, getting out, and you guys are doing it the right way, man. Getting out and playing shows out of state, out of your, your kind of local region or whatever. like I said, man, the network just grows so fast, especially for what you were just saying, because bands that you meet out on the road, when they're coming through Colorado, they don't know anybody. They're going to call you. You know what I mean? They're going to call the people they know, and you never know who's going to be on top in the future, man.
Yeah,
what I mean?
dude.
You just fucking never know, dude. So that's great, guys. We are getting kind of towards the end of our interview here. So can you tell the people watching where they can find you? Are they going to find you online? They're going to find you on fucking TikTok? Where are they going to find you guys?
Midwest emo, icebergs at the bottom. Reddit threads about emo music.
Yep.
And then Instagram, and then all the streaming platforms, and next Friday in Boulder at a DIY.
What is the date specifically for the
April
show?
24th at Unit 5 in Boulder.
Okay,
Sick.
there it is, dude. Fuck yeah. All right, boys. And then on Instagram, is it just at Shorts?
At shorts.band.
Okay, I figured you guys would be pulling something off if you got at Shorts.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Just like, we are at Shorts. So at shorts.band.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it here first, guys. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, this has been fucking great. We'll have to have you guys up here another time.
Yes.
Paul,
Love to.
what
Oh,
do
yeah.
we say at the end of every episode?
Glory to the order. Eat it on the border. Vision of disorder.